Audra, it's just too much work to sell my house. I'm overwhelmed. Just the thought of having people in my house is overwhelming and gives me a great deal of anxiety. I have financial restrictions. I have physical restrictions. The whole thing is just beyond what I can take in. I want to sell my house or I need to sell my house. It's just too much work. You know, I'm going to keep it real. I'm a straight shooter, and I'm going to tell you what probably most people won't tell you. And that is selling a home and moving is not fun. It's not fun, folks. I've done it 11 times in 21 years. I am a professional mover. I know how to do it. I do YouTube videos on how to move, but it is extremely time consuming. It can be expensive. It's stressful. The best thing you can do is know your motivation for selling, know what obstacles you have to overcome to get the house ready for sale. And the third thing is create a plan. Probably the most important part of your success when selling a home is finding your motivation. So why the heck are you selling, right? Are you downsizing? Are you being relocated across the country or the nation? Are you a growing family and you want to move up to a larger home? Or are you in a process maybe that the banks are going to foreclose on you? Either way, you need to find that motivation. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail about kind of the emotional side of getting motivated to sell, but whatever that motivation is, I would even post something on your refrigerator or somewhere where you can be reminded as to why you are selling. Because when you are selling and you are going through the whole process, you need to be mindful as to why you're working and what the goal is. You got to keep that right front and center, because you can get sidetracked. The number one reason that selling a home is just too overwhelming for sellers is that the staging and the preparation of putting their house on the market is just beyond what they can comprehend. Now, I have done several videos on how to prepare your house for sale. I will link those down in the description box below. And for those of you who are watching my channel, you're probably like, Audra, we know, we watch your videos and it's so comprehensive and it just stresses me out. I don't know where to go. I'm overwhelmed. I hear you. So I think the first thing I can say to respond to that is this doesn't have to happen in 2 weeks. If you are selling your house, be reasonable. You do need to prepare your house for sale. And whether you do or not, you're still going to have to pack up those boxes and move. So you either do it in the beginning of the process or you do it at the end. And if you do prepare your house properly, more than likely you will get probably top dollar. Your house will sell probably quicker. We know that from all the stats. So I'm going to suggest that you do prepare and declutter. And if you can't, we can talk about selling the property as is. So what I would do is I'd give myself and trick my brain into telling it hey, you got 6 months to get this house on the market. And so I start moving and you're starting to get ready. And it's amazing how quickly things go once you start putting one foot in front of the other. Okay. That 6 months would then turn into 3 months. And then I get everything done in about a month and a half. But it lessened my anxiety when I set a reasonable time to put my house on the market. So for those of you who have that time, don't feel the pressure that, this is the best time to sell and the rates are doing this. You can only do what you can do. So minimize the stress by giving yourself a reasonable time frame to get your house ready to put on the market. Now, for those of you that are like, Audra, I have to sell it immediately. I don't have all the time to get my house ready. You can always sell your house as is. You can always do that. Now, when you sell a house as is, what that means is that you are selling the house in the condition seen. You're not making any repairs or requests. Now, when you're selling a property as is, it also means that you still have to disclose everything about the property that you're aware of, whether there's an electrical issue, a plumbing issue, a roof issue, you still have those disclosures. And so the people are going to come in and view your house. They're going to look around and they're going to say, hey, like the house, we're going to give you this offer. If it's not properly prepared, more than likely, they're going to give you an offer that's below market value. And you might say, Audra, that's worth it for me. I'm going to say, that's fine with me too. So if you are in that situation where you have to sell, I would just say you price your house according to the condition of the property. Now, most of the videos that I am presenting out there online is, hey, I'm trying to get you top dollar. I mean, as a realtor, my fiduciary responsibility is to get the best price and terms. And the best way I know how to do that is to make your house shine. But it is not a requirement. I have sold several properties where the homeowners are just like, I can't do the work. I just can't. And we do sell those properties. In fact, we usually sell them pretty quickly out here in California because inventories are so tight and buyers want a deal. So if your hesitation is that you don't want to put your house on the market because you can't prepare it, and let's say you have a lot of pressure from banks or maybe some other outside sources, Don't lose your house over the crippling idea that no one's going to buy it because it's not in perfect condition. There's always going to be a buyer out there for your house. The question is how much you're going to get for it. Now, whether you're selling your house because you have to and you're selling it as is and you don't care about the condition, you still have to move. So you're still going to have to get those boxes. So go find boxes. And if you want to know what I do when I'm trying to find boxes for cheap, because those things are expensive, is you go find someone that just recently moved in the area. Trust me, they have a lot of boxes and they don't know what to do with them. And they would be happily to hand over all of their boxes to you, okay? So get boxes and start throwing in all the stuff you want to move and, go get a dumpster. Just start throwing things away in the dumpster. I promise you that probably 80% of the things that you have on your property, nobody wants, including you. So you can declutter. Give yourself a month just to throw and to organize, because whether it's a distress sale or whether you're preparing your house for sale, like that is a process you're going to have to do no matter what. So would be my suggestion that you get on that sooner than later, no matter what situation you're in. And for those of you that might have some physical restrictions, work with a realtor that can assist with this, okay? They can, line you with the right people, which we'll talk about finding that realtor in just a minute, but they can assist with helping you prepare your house for sale. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I need your help. As you know, I am a full-time realtor. I do this in between some of my meetings. In fact, I'm going to an open house right after this. So wish me luck, but please subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Okay, the second reason why sellers are just overwhelmed and feel like it's too much work to get their house on the market is they don't know how to decipher the market research. They don't know what price to list their house. They don't know when the best time to sell is. And they just interviewed 3 or 4 different agents, and they all come up with different strategies and different prices. And then they just logged on to Zillow, and Zillow's spitting out some unrealistic number. I hate Zillow. I just hate Zillow when it comes to those estimates. They're not accurate, just so you know. And they haven't even seen your house. So how can Zestimate? The whole thing drives me nuts. I'm going to make this very simple. The best time to sell is when you are ready. When you're ready. Don't feel the pressure. Like right now, it's springtime. And in my area, the best time to sell, meaning the most activity we get, is during the springtime. So I have a lot of sellers calling me right now saying, I just can't get everything done. I feel like I have to get my house on the market during springtime, or I'm leaving money on the table. Or we're hearing a lot right now, like, oh, the election's at the end of the year, and oh my gosh, it's going to be crazy. And I have all this stress trying to get my house on the market before the election, and I'm not making this political. No matter what side you are on, there's concerns that the market might halt during that election. And, I don't know if it is or not. But the bottom line is those are the things that are outside of your control. The one thing you can control is your emotions and your anxiety during the process. If you have to sell or want to sell, do the best you can with preparing it on the market. Don't feel the pressure of the timing. You do it when it's right. Then to make price very simple for you as well. And that is you're going to list your house for market value. Plain and simple. Don't get greedy. Don't go up here. That's no bueno. Don't go down below here. No bueno. Market value. Okay. And if you're going to make an error, go below market value, because more than likely you'll get multiple offers driving it up to market value or above. So how do you establish market value? I always hire an appraiser to come out to evaluate the property. I'm a smart cookie. I kind of already know what the house is going to sell for, and most sellers kind of already know what the house is going to sell for. We might differ, a little bit, but when you have an appraiser that comes in and goes, hey, this is the market value, it really sets expectations right up front. And the nice thing about having that appraisal is that the buyer comes in and offers a lowball offer. You just, throw over the appraisal and go, here you go. We're like, okay. This just happened last week where I had somebody make an offer. It was $30,000 off our asking price. I just sent over the appraisal. And they said, okay, well, I guess that's our price. And I saved the seller $30,000 because we had the appraisal in place. Now, you can ask your realtor to provide an appraisal. They may or may not. You might want to purchase your own appraisal if you have the finances to do that. I comp it for my clients because I know the power in it. It saves me a lot of time too, and the seller. And you might want to just trust the realtor that you're working with. I mean, if they're working the area, they're going to know the comps. And if it makes sense, then maybe you just go with their recommended price. Either way, don't price your house too high. Not suggesting that. The way we're negotiating right now is when you put your house on the market, it is common for the house to go under contract for what's listed on the MLS or higher. Sometimes we're getting multiple offers right now. Don't list too high. Now, the third reason why sellers are overwhelmed with the process is that they just don't want to do open houses and showings. They have kids and pets, and They work at home and it's just way too much work for them. They just can't handle it. So that's a valid concern. And honestly, that's probably the most disruptive part of this whole process is the showing process. You just can't get up every 5 times someone makes a request to show the property. And I did a video on no lockbox, which I'll link up right here. And I also link it down below. I hate those things because anybody can come to the house. If you are in that situation where you do have kids and pets and are working out of the house, then maybe you work with your realtor. You say, hey, we're only going to show the property on Tuesday for an hour and maybe on the weekend from a certain time frame. So you schedule that out. So then you can go live your life and you just make sure you notify the realtor, we're only showing the property during these 2 windows or 3 windows, or just create a schedule that works for you and the realtor. Now, the 5th reason why sellers are just a little bit overwhelmed with the process is they don't want to negotiate with the buyers. They're just like, Audra, I'm just not confrontational. I don't like conflict, like the whole idea of going back and forth. I don't really feel comfortable negotiating. I've never been a good negotiator. And so that's where hiring the right agent really comes into play, okay? You really need to hire an experienced agent that knows what's customary to negotiate in the contract. And by the way, I do have a referral business that I'd be happy to refer you some agents. I will link that link down below. If you just sign up, we're happy to give you a few agents that you should interview. Now, we're going to give you anywhere from 1 to 3 agents to interview. And whether you use my referral company or not, I highly recommend that you interview at least 3 agents, at least 3, okay? 3 agents. And you're going to make sure they have those negotiating skills, that they have those sales under their belt, that experience. So when that negotiation process comes up, it'll be very smooth for you because you have somebody representing you fairly. Now, the negotiations in the contract should be the easiest thing in the whole process because you're going to hire an extremely well-versed agent that gets to negotiate and represent you well. So choose wisely. Okay, the 6th reason that sellers are like, oh, overwhelmed, I don't want to put my house on the market is because the paperwork and all the disclosures and what are they signing and what are my legal obligations? They just don't know. So that, again, is the reason why you're going to interview 3 agents. They really should be the ones walking you through that process. You need to know what you're signing. And the sooner you get ahead of this, the better. So if you're even kind of thinking about selling your house in the next 6 months to a year, I highly recommend that you start interviewing agents so you can start getting familiar with the process so it's not so overwhelming. 1 day at a time is my motto. Now, the 7th reason why sellers are just overwhelmed with the whole process is that they're just emotionally attached to their home. They have memories of raising their kids there or just had some good experiences or it's a new chapter in their life and they're just having a difficult time letting go of the past. That's something that takes time and that can't be rushed. And if you remember at the beginning of the video, I said, post something on the refrigerator or really understand the motivation for selling because you have to be motivated and letting go of those ties is difficult for a lot of people out there. But if you are motivated, you're going to always have those memories. And I'm not trying to minimize what you're going through. Like I said, I moved 11 times in 21 years. I get that moving out of a house can be very challenging, especially for us sentimental people. Like it's hard. It's really, really, really hard. But no matter what, there you are. And you have to ask yourself if this is more important, moving into the next chapter, into the next home, or staying put at your house with those memories. And for some, staying in the house with those memories is more important than moving to the next chapter. I can't really help you with that. That's something you're going to have to decide. Either way, I support you. Okay, the 8th thing is time and energy. So putting your house on the market takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy. I kind of alluded to that at the beginning of the video where it's like, just give yourself enough time to prepare because it is a lot of time. It is a lot of energy. But I will tell you that whenever I put a lot of time and energy into anything, actually, even this YouTube channel, like when I first started, it was just poo-poo. And I'm still not great, but I'm working on it. So you put a lot of time and energy, and I've always been rewarded for the time and energy that I put into anything. So I know putting your house on the market is difficult, and the time and the energy it takes just seems overwhelming, and you're never going to get the rewards for doing all the work that you're doing. And I can just tell you from experience, it usually pays off in the long run. So on this topic, all I can do is just kind of give you a hug through the camera and tell you that you can do it. People sell their homes every day, and I think the most important thing here is just do it at your own pace. Don't feel pressure from your realtor or from the market predictions. Do it at your own pace. The 9th reason why sellers are apprehensive in selling their home is because they're uncertain. When is my house going to sell? Is it going to sell? What's going to be the feedback? I don't know if the market's going to cooperate. So there's all that uncertainty. And you are right. There is a ton of uncertainty when we put your house on the market. However, there are stats that we can work with. So if you're working with a realtor they should be able to tell you what the average days on market are in your area at your price point. So for example, in Orange County, California, let's say at the $1 million price point, I know right away that the average days on market is going to be about 30 days on market. If the house is on the market for more than 30 days, I know we might have a problem. We're going to go look at the feedback. We're going to look at if there's more inventory, if there's more competition now than when we first put it on the market, right? But you can make some predictions to help with some of that anxiety or those unknowns. And your realtor should be just readily available with that information, and they should be giving you feedback on a consistent basis. So if you do have to change your strategy with pricing or showings, that you can adjust based on the market changes as well. The 10th reason is that sellers have financial considerations they just don't understand. So how much does it cost to sell my house? How much are commissions? How much are the escrow and title fees? How much is the repairs going to be? Do I have to pay for title? Blah, 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 blah. They're overwhelmed. If you are selling your house, I highly recommend that you get that agent in as soon as possible. I don't care if that cat litter box hasn't been changed out. I don't care if your house is a mile high and laundry and boxes. Like, you get that agent out there. Trust me, they've seen everything. You're not going to offend them. But you do need to know the financial impacts on selling your home. You need to know how much it costs. And once you get your head around that, I think you're going to feel a lot more comfortable moving forward. It's always good to look at a net sheet saying, hey, if I sell my house for this, here's my costs, and this is what I'm going to net. It also helps with that motivation. Like, oh, I am going to make quite a bit of money selling my house. It does help with the process a little bit. But that unknown, not knowing, is overwhelming. So get on it right now. My name is Audra Lambert, and I reside in good old Orange County, California. And if you are looking to buy or sell a property in my area, I would love to interview for the job. So please reach out to me. And if you got any benefit out of this video, please smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. I would forever be grateful. Have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.